Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Deutsche Goldmesse is brought to you by Faraday Copper.
This month, Brixton Metals announced that BHP Billiton was investing in the company. The CEO of Brixton is Gary Thompson. How you doing, Gary?
Doing great, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the BHP. I want to get to it in a minute. That's a big milestone for the company since we talked, I think was about 2 years ago. But maybe first, talk about Brixton, catch us up again. What are you focused on?
Sure. Well, Brixton has a portfolio of precious metal, copper assets. The last few years, it's really been a transition into our flagship Thorn project in northern British Columbia. And it's really all about the copper, I think, copper, gold, porphyry, big scale system. Obviously, that's attracted BHP. So pretty excited about that.
Tell us about the BHP deal.
Yeah, so BHP is committed to 19.9% of Brixton Metals. You know, sub deal, that was about a 50 million market cap company. So that'll work out to about 13.6 million from BHP for that 19.9, and then Crescat Capital, which is our second largest shareholder, has participation rights, so they'll participate in that. So total financing is something like 14.6 million. So puts us in a great position ending 2022. So we're looking at about an $18 million treasury going into next year, and we're going to put that money to work chasing big porphyries.
So that's the whole focus is on for the Thorn, is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Bring us up to date. What's the work that's been done on Thorn?
Well, you know, it goes back. We got listed on Thorn, was our flagship listing property in 2010, but a much smaller land position than when we first started. We were looking more at the gold potential there, and there's still lots of gold potential. But it's really changed over the last several years. Probably in 2018 was really the turning point, where based on the BC government geologist report, identified an area actually south of where we've been working as one of the largest, highest ranking porphyry anomalies in the province of British Columbia. And it was open ground. Well, as exploration geologists, we got pretty excited. So we staked a lot of that ground, and since then have done 3 other transactions to consolidate a 2,900 square kilometer land position. So it's actually the largest mineral claim group in British Columbia of any company.
Now what would you say, you're Golden Triangle adjacent, you would say? You're close on it there? So
I would say we're on geological trend to the Golden Triangle.
Okay.
It's an arbitrary triangle. I can draw you a triangle that will nicely fit in our block. But I'd say it's similar geology. We've got very prospective, mineralization. And one of the things that we've determined over the last few years is we've got a large span of age dates. And why that's important is because you've got multiple events, 50 million year, 80, 90 million year Cretaceous, and also Jurassic and that 200, 250 million year old events. Why that's important is because those are multiple time periods of mineralizing events. So that's a good thing geologically. You've got lots of complexity there. So we've got recognized multiple porphyry centers in something like an 80-kilometer megatrend, if you will.
have you put together the plans for what you're going to be drilling next season?
Not exactly yet. We still have a lot of data. I think we're still waiting on about 80% of our drill results from 18,200 meters that we drilled in 2022. So we need to get all that in hand. A lot of geophysics and geochem work that we did this year as well on many other targets. So we've got something like 14 target areas and really been only working on a handful of them. So we still got to get through all that data and process that data and compile it and interpret that data for the plan next year. But hopefully over the winter here, that'll be good work to do. And yeah, we're pretty excited for 2023, and we're right now fully funded for that program.
The Golden Triangle has just been on fire right now because I look at it. I mean, you have Skeena that's getting close right now. You have the takeout about 2 years ago, GT Gold with Newmont. You have Newcrest coming in with both Pretium and, formerly with Red Chris. You see a bunch of JVs that are actually happening. Tech over to Fireweed, I guess, would be to the north and the east of you as well, too. So there's just a lot of activity around there, and that must be very helpful what you're doing.
Well, it certainly is. You know, it's got to be one of the most prolific copper gold districts in the world. A lot of activity for sure, a lot of majors taking interest in it. And look, we need to build these next generation mines. And I think, we're starting to see a lot of majors coming into this camp. And these are long life assets that big companies want to own and develop and generate benefits for not only the local communities, but for stakeholders and shareholders. So it's, I think, a good opportunity for companies to take a look. It's a big area. It should be probably called the 500-kilometer copper-gold belt, but everybody knows the Golden Triangle as the Golden Triangle, so we'll kind of stick with that. But I think it's a very interesting area geologically, and I think it still has a lot more discoveries to come out of this whole trend.
Talk about community relations and First Nations.
Yeah, so we've been very active with First Nations. We're partnering with Taku River Tlingit, which are based out of Atlin, BC, and the Tahltan First Nations, which are very active in the region. So we do have a bit of an overlap with both groups, and we've been very proactive. In fact, we've had about 25% of our workforce and contractors have been First Nations. So we're very much engaged, and we see them as long-term partners in the project, and it certainly helps us. We can draw on from that local talent and working on those sort of training opportunities, and we think there's good opportunity for locals to benefit from this project.
And your share structure, Gary? Shareholder structure.
Yeah, shareholder structure, we're about 380 million shares outstanding, recently trading at about 20 cents. So I'd say still reasonably low market cap, and we have no debt, and like I say, we'll end the year with about 18 million in cash.
Lastly, Gary, what are going to be the milestones over the 12 months? I guess you've got, what did you say, 80% of your assays that are still outstanding right now, so you'll have some news flow.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some news flow coming out. I think certainly watch for that. The labs have been very slow in turning around results, but we're excited, for at least visually, what we're seeing in the core, and the results are good. We still have a lot of geochem. We took a lot of, I think, over 500 rock samples and over 1,000 soil samples, and then flew a number of geophysical surveys. So lots of data to chew through, over the winter months. And I would guess that by January, February, we should have most of those results in hand. So yeah, I think a good amount of news flow coming out of Brixton over the next several months.
Gary, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My name is Michael McRae. You're watching Deutsche Goldmesse here in Frankfurt, Germany.
Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Deutsche Goldmesse is brought to you by Faraday Copper.